guys, what's going on? Blossoms back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives, and of course we've got another wave of card corrections coming down. Now, one thing I didn't expect is that I thought that the card corrections were going to be very strict towards certain rarities, as in wave 3 was just going to cover the epics and the legends. But one thing that we've realized, that we've seen from all these waves, is that, you know, they kind of go back to the lower rarities to fix a couple of things, and I do really appreciate that. I think that's very nice. There's some nice cues, some nice changes in here that I do appreciate, mainly the one to the Suzuki Kara, right? I feel like, you know, Hutch maybe decided, you know what, Suzuki Kara going rare was a little bit too much of an overcorrection, and the fact that it went down back to an uncommon shows that they are willing to make those changes. They're willing to acknowledge that, you know, they have overcorrected some things. But anyway, before we get into today's video, and as always for these kind of videos, no camera, because I want to get all the information covering the screen as much as possible. That's why you're not seeing me right now. But before we get into today's video, as always, the segment where you guys showcase your die-cast cars, right? While watching one of my YouTube videos, we're gonna go to David, Mr. David. Welcome. Thank you. I say welcome like he's here, but he's not. But shout out to his little RWB. He's got the Team Transport, the purple RWB Hot Wheel Premium. That's a nice one. That's a holy grail of Team Transports. That thing resells for a pretty penny. I would like to get one. I know there are 3 RWBs right now: the black, the white, the purple. I only have the white one. Maybe I'll get the black and purple one day down the line. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the video. Thank you so much for your submission. As always, if you guys would like to have your die-cast car showcase in one of these videos, I'll post them, you know, one time per video, I guess, and you can always reach out to me on Instagram. Anyway, let's get into it. So, super rares, upgrades and downgrades. Let's talk about all the changes. So, I want to talk about the new super rares that we're going to be getting. Now, honestly, a lot of cars here are kind of going full circle. Like, they used to be a super rare, and then 2 years ago in the World Expo rarity change, they went up to becoming an ultra rare, and now they're coming back down to a super rare. Now, I'm gonna base this off my memory, but I think from what you see here, the cars that used to be super rare that went up to an ultra rare, I think there's only one out of the 6 that you see here. That's the Mercedes-Benz S400L, the W222. That should be the only one. I think that should be the only one. That used to be a super that went up to an ultra that went back down to a super. I think everything else has been an ultra for a very long time, but it's nice to see a lot of these cars, you know, go down. I think a lot of people, you know, they definitely attacked, I think it was American Frontier, American Overdrive, the one of all the GMCs. They were saying, you know, you're adding a bunch of pickup trucks, SUVs, all sorts of cars, and they're all terrible. And they are. There are a lot of really bad super ultra rare ones, and to see them going super rare is a bit refreshing. You know, we're seeing some GMCs here going down. We'll see some Navigators go down later as well. Definitely, there are a lot of issues that need some RQ changes, and you know, these all-service tire, really heavy SUVs are one of them. Others including, you know, just basically anything 4-wheel drive, right? Rear-wheel drive standard, front-wheel drive standard, stuff like that. But yeah, so these are your 6 first changes. The GMC Yukon Denali's. We've got the GMC Sierra, the Mercedes-Benzes as well. The G55 that you see over here, that's an interesting one, and we will showcase and highlight that one later on in the video as well. Moving on to some more changes with the Lincoln Navigator Concept and the Navigator both going down. Now, I do really appreciate that a lot of these American SUVs are going down in RQ, because the thing is, they kind of are more skewed towards the drag meta. And I was a little bit scared because, you know, Hutch is buffing just about every single drag car in the game, every drag specialist. And I'm glad that they didn't buff these cars, because honestly speaking, things like the Navigator, things like the Yukon Denali's, they handle so bad to the point where you don't even really want to max out their handling. You know, you're just going to focus on their strongest trait, which are their 0 to 60s. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are dragsters, but they're usually only used in a drag scenario when it comes to all-service tire cars and top drives. Very, very niche scenarios, but I'm really glad that they went down in RQ instead of going up. I'm glad that Hutch didn't see them as dragsters, because although they are mostly used for those scenarios, they're not good. they're not good as dragsters. You know, it's one of those cars where it's like, do you go 332? Do you go 323? The handling is really bad, but so is the top speed and so is the MRA. Like, it's a lost cause of a lot of these SUVs. So I think as a Super Rare, the fact that they're a little bit cheaper, it's a fully upgrade, a little bit more attainable, you know, it gives people more trial and error. You know, it gives people more incentive to get 2 navigators or 3 navigators and max them out, because it's ultimately cheaper to max out 3 Lincoln navigators as a Super Rare than to max out 3 Lincoln navigators as an Ultra Rare. That's just my 2 cents on things. Sierra's going down. Chrysler Aspen Hybrid is going down as well. This one's going to be huge in my opinion, because if you are a club player, it means that the Chrysler Aspen Hybrid is going to become a lot more accessible to you. It means that if you're a hardcore clubs player, it's going to be, you know, basically needed to have 5 of those cars fully upgraded already. I have 2 Aspen Hybrid Ultra Rares maxed. And you know, they were a game changer for me because not a lot of players wanted to upgrade, a fully upgrade in a useless Ultra like the Aspen. But now that that's going down to a Super Rare, I think more people are going to find it accessible to them. And if they play clubs, that's just more competition for me. Cadillac Escalade ESV, here's another one. So this used to be Super Rare, went up to Ultra Rare, now it's back to a Super Rare. The Volvo XC70 as well is just moving down. That never was a Super Rare to begin with, if I remember correctly. I think it came into the game as an Ultra Rare. Here's some more changes. Now, unfortunately, I really wanted to see more Skodas going down in RQ, but unfortunately the only Skoda that we see actually going down in RQ is the Skoda Octavia. In my opinion, I still think that there are a lot of all surface tire Skodas that are RQ50 that need to go down to Super Rare. They absolutely need to go down to Super Rare. So it's a bit unfortunate that we didn't see more Skodas go down. We will see a lot of Skodas get changed in the lower rarities. I think there are a lot of Super Rare Skodas going down to Rare. But when it comes to the Ultra Rares, I wish there was more than just this Octavia going down. I knew that a couple of Skodas went down in the previous Ultra Rare change, but there's still more that need to go down. The Peugeot SXC is going down to a Super Rare. I see some people saying that this thing might be pretty useful for the French wet meta. I did a quick test. It still loses to the Peugeot Fractal. Or is it a Fractal? Is it a Peugeot? I'm not sure if it's a Peugeot, but the Fractal, right? It still loses to the Fractal. But you can use the SXC on like a city street small or medium. Definitely a small, I think, would be better for that Super Rare rain French meta. Peugeot Rally 504 is also a little bit of a breath of fresh air. This and the Fiat, I believe, is the Seicento. You know, 2 cars which I really kind of, you know, I enjoy the fact that they're going down in RQ, but also I didn't really expect it at the same time because Hutch is buffing every single off-road tire car in the game. So to see a couple off-roaders, you know, go down in RQ and change in rarity is a little bit interesting. You know, it kind of goes against the grain of what they're trying to do. But I completely agree that the Rally 504 is a terrible Ultra and it needs to go down. The Mazda 6 goes down in RQ. I think this being a medium ground clearance 85 handling front wheel drive standard 47 RQ, it's going to be, you know, pretty decent. The Honda Accord is a little bit of a meme. I mean, so much that I want to put it as the thumbnail car. The Honda Accord used to be an Ultra Rare, I believe, back in 2017. It went down to a Super, then it went back up to an Ultra, and now it's back down as a Super. So, you know, it's gone from B to C to B to C, and it's just like, where do you want to put it, you know? In the future, the Honda Accord might go back to a B. I really don't know. And then, of course, we got the Holden Commodore that's going down as well. Only one of them. I expected more to go down. We got the Holden Calibra that's going down as well. The GMC Canyon SLT, yeah, that's going down as it should. It was a really nice car, though. I really like the red on red, but, you know, it's still pretty decent as a Super Rare. Here you go, not the Seicento, sorry, the Stillo. The Fiat Stillo is going down from an Ultra Rare to a Super, and I'm really surprised that the Stillo is going down, but the Seicento isn't, because the Seicento actually is a worse version of the Stillo because it handles less. I get it, it has a lower 0 to 60. Who cares? It's not a dragster anyway. Nitro is going down, Cadillac Escalade ESV is going down, and the Audi S6 is going down as well. I expected more Audis to go down, but I think we're only getting 3 here. So the S4 Cabriolet, the Audi S6, 2 more Audis going down. And here's one that I genuinely didn't expect. The Alfa Giulia Veloce going from 50 RQ to 47. So which were the cars that stood out for me? For the Ultras that are moving down to Supers, which were the ones that, you know, are promising competitors? Again, there is a stigma that it might be too early to call. And I get it. You know, these cars are still Ultra Rares. Maybe it's not fair to compare them right now. But, you know, early speculation, okay? Early speculation. Of course, this isn't gospel. but this is something that, obviously, curiosity, right? I wanted to answer some questions in my head. So the G55 AMG Benz, for this thing as a Super Rare, I genuinely think is going to be pretty damn good. It's going to be beating things like the Yukon XL Denali, the Silverado, the GL350, the G500 as well, which is a hill climb beast. For the Super Rare meta right now, which isn't lasting very long, to be honest, because the G55 is going to overtake that, and of course the Evoque convertible as well. So the G55 looks like it's going to be in a pretty good spot. Now, the thing to remember is that this Yukon Denali that's RQ47 right now, when the next rarity and car correction change comes, this thing is going to become 44. So, I mean, it's fair, it's losing to the 46, and yeah, like I said, it might be a bit too early to put these cars together because we're not really seeing a clear photo, but I think, we can read between the lines and thinking that the G55 AMG Benz is going to be pretty decent going into this next rarity change. Another car that kind of, yeah, I've got more comparisons of the G55, so here on the snow, on the sand, ice, gravel, as you can see, it is dominant besides the test bowl. Another car that has struck my fancy is the Giulia Veloce, as I mentioned. And as an RQ50, it's moving down to 47, and as I'm comparing it to current day RQ48s and even some 49s, the Giulia Veloce is able to kind of trade blows, right? It's a good hairpin road car, a great indoor karting car. You know what? My mistake. I should have put the Infinity in here. The Infinity is the best hairpin Super Rare in the game, and I really wanted to see if it beats the Infinity in the hairpin road or not. Nevertheless, this is going to be a 47. That Infinity, as far as I know, is 49. It might change the next rarity change. That's why I said take this with a heavy pinch of salt, okay? Because I will do more comparisons again when the car correction change actually goes live and we have more accurate representations of every car's RQ. Because right now, I don't know what the RQ is going to be in a couple days for the Mustang and the 350 and the GT. So I'm comparing a 47 or what will be a 47 to cars that may not even be 48s. You know what I mean? Right now it's like, we're comparing, a 24.4 rarity change against a 24.3, rarity standing. That being said, though, it is able to trade blows with a lot of these cars, which is still really quite impressive. So the Giulia Veloce, although it's going down in RQ, I think it's going to be pretty decent. And then the last two I want to talk about, these two are, they're kind of red herrings. No, that's not the right word. What's a word if you stand out, like a black sheep or something, right? The Peugeot Rally and the Fiat Stilo. The fact that they're off-road tire cars, but they are actually going down in of rarity instead of up. Here's a pretty interesting one. The Mazda 2 Rally, okay? This thing went from a super rare to an ultra rare, and it's losing to things like the Escort. It's losing to things like the Stilo. It's the same story here as well in the dirt. The Mazda 2 Rally, which is going to be, just a summarized version of all the ultra rares that went up in the most recent rarity change. It's losing to the Stilo. It's losing to the Escort. So it's kind of crazy to think that in the next, rarity change, in the next update, we're going to have the Stilo as a super rare. The Escort's going to remain a super rare, and these two cars are actually going to be beating the Mazda 2 Rally. So it makes you think, like, why is the Mazda 2 Rally an ultra rare? Why did that car go up? And I think that, if Hutch is more open to, fluctuating their RQs a little bit more and making more changes, I'll be hoping to see that Mazda 2 Rally go back down. I don't think it should be an ultra rare at all. I think it should be a 49. The times kind of speak for themselves over here. Either, the Mazda 2 Rally goes down to a super rare to join the Stilo, or the Stilo goes back up to an ultra rare, becomes maybe an RQ51, and then the Mazda 2 Rally becomes an RQ50. So yeah, I mean, it's nothing new here that there's a lot of inconsistency going on with the rarity change. Things don't really make sense, but at least Hutch is open to changing things around. It's just funny because they're just giving themselves more work to do. They wouldn't need to have this debacle with the Mazda 2 Rally if they didn't promote it to an ultra in the first place. But they did, so now they have this issue. Here's more comparisons against the snow and the dirt wet. Again, the cars getting most of the wins are going to be the Escort and the Stilo. The Mazda 2 Rally, nowhere to be seen. The Peugeot Rally 504 is nowhere to be seen as well. So yeah, fair enough. That thing is going down in rarity. And yeah, again, here's another one. So here are some of the other cars that went up in rarity, right? So we've got the Visa Trophy, we've got the Rally, and then we've got the Cicento, which went up to an ultra rare a long time ago, but it used to be a super rare, right? And then we've got things like the Veloster as well that I just kind of shoehorned in there. And again, the Stillo, it's going down. With no performance changes. It's going down to a super rare, but it's like the best option for, you know, a lot of these track sets. I really don't understand. Like, why did the Visa Trophy go up? You know, why couldn't it be a 49? Why did the Mazda 2 Rally go up? There are some things that really does scratch my head. But now let's talk about the lower rarities, okay? Because there are some other changes as well. I will talk about the Legend and Epic changes in another video. I wanted to get the low end shit out of the way first. More rares are going up to super rare. They're basically revamping the entire drag meta at this point. In the last rarity change, we saw the Hemi Cuda go up. And I was like, wow, the Hemi Cuda went up. The Bora went up as well, right? The Cuda and the Bora went up, but the Ghiblis, they became, you know, meta again. Well, they've only been meta for like 2 weeks, like a week and a half. They're gonna go up soon too. And honestly speaking, they're gonna be useless. This is a 45 is genuinely going to be useless. I know that the Charger, the 69 Charger, is becoming a 43 in the next update, and the 69 Charger is still a better car, even though it did get a minor nerf to MRA. The Hemi Cuda is still going to be a great car. I mean, basically, they're just taking all the rare super rares in the past that were meta, and they're making them, you know, all the rare all the rare dragsters in the past, and they're all making them super rares. So what was the drag meta for the rares in the past is going to be the same thing, but for super rares, I guess. I guess the Hemi Cuda and the Ghiblis, they kind of compete with the Miuras now. So yeah, I don't know if the Miuras go to ultra rare now, don't they? I need to have a go look at that. But yeah, the rare, not the rare, but the drag meta is genuinely just changing. I don't know if evolving is the right word, but it's definitely morphing into something else. So a lot of changes to the dragsters here, right? Everything that you would suspect to be a good rare dragster has just gone up to be a super rare dragster. Besides the Barf was just more of a hybrid car. It was great though. Here's some more. Now this, in my opinion, is freaking overkill. The Corvette 396, the Aston Martin Virage, and the DB4 Zagato. I feel especially bad for the DB4 Zagato because this thing was useless as a rare. It was competing against the Hemi Cuda, it was competing against the Ghibli, it was competing against the Firebird, it was even competing against the Corvette 396. And you know, now that its direct competitors have all gone up to super rare, you would think, oh, maybe now the DB4 is a time to shine as the premier rare dragster. No, it went up to super rare as well, so it's just going to remain as useless. Basically, you know, in the old meta, well, the old meta at the time of recording is still the current meta, where, you know, the Ghiblis are the best and all that. The Zagato was useless. And when it moves on to the new meta, it's still gonna be useless. It's just the same. It's just the rarity changes. That's all. Some more changes. The Dart Swinger is just an overcorrection, in my opinion. The Bristol 411 also is just a massive overcorrection. Why is this a super rare? This Bristol, I don't get that. A couple more changes here. Chevy K 1500, Formula 4, as well as the Porsche 928. Again, in my opinion, they're all just overcorrections. I get if the Rifter goes up in RQ, and I even get if the Triton goes up in RQ. But having the Chevy K 1500 go up in RQ is a little bit too much, guys. It's a little bit too much. Keep it as a rare. It's a little bit way too much, in my opinion. Now, some downgrades. So super rares going down to rare. We got the Alpha 159. Oh my goodness. Okay, Alpha 159 used to be a rare, went up to super rare, went back down to rare. Or is going back down to a rare. Alpha 75 used to be a rare, it's going up to a super rare, it's going back down to a rare. Cadillac GTS used to be a rare, gone up to super rare, and now it's going back down to a rare. It's the same thing. It's these three cars going full circle. GMC Sierra is going down. The Hyundai Asian, I'm gonna call it Asian, but I know it's called Aslan, is going down, and the Citroen DS5 going down as well. And then again, like I said, a lot of Skodas are going down, which is pretty nice to see. So maybe these cars are gonna be a little bit more useful, because these were cars that I never fully upgraded, and I was never going to fully upgrade as an RQ40. They were terrible. And the Citroen CX, another off-roader car, going down. This thing was terrible as an off-roader, as a Supra, in my opinion. Honestly, like the handling was just so bad, and like it wasn't a dragster in any way. So like I never maxed it. It's a prize car, and since winning this, I just left it stock in my garage, and I've never used it at all. I do apologize. Photos messed up on this one a little bit. I know that they're both called 3500, but they are completely different cars. Okay, more changes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I'm kind of glad that they're still working on the lower rarities. They are fixing some stuff, like the Ford Mustang Boss, for example. This thing was uncommon for a little bit way too long, and you know what, going up to a rare, it's about time. 37, again, a little bit of an overcorrection. I don't think the Mustang Boss should be at 37, but to be fair, I don't think it's far off at 37. I think it performs like, you know, in this day and age, in this meta, when there's no Hemi Cuda or no Ghibli to worry about, I would say that it probably performs like a 36. So, you know, 37 is just a little bit higher than I expected. Mistral is going up. Mercury Comet's going up. Eldorado is going up. Kangoo is going up. Basically, I'm not allowed to make Blossom Choice right now because everything is so volatile. The Kangoo was basically meta for just about a month or so since the first wave of rarity changes. Yeah, I mean, when that goes up to a rare, it's going to become obsolete, 100% obsolete again. Here's a couple more changes to wrap it all up. As you can see, Chrysler 300, Citroen CX, and the Ford Mustang Mach 2. Now, let's talk about rares going down to uncommon. We've got the Chevy SSR, Ford Focus. I mean, honestly, looking at these cars, they're all kind of just boring at this point. Like, they're going down just because they're crap, honestly, and I'm not going to spend too much time on these. So let's move on to more rarity changes. Again, I mean, these cars are going down, frankly, because they're bad. The Ford Focus, though, this one becoming a 26, I feel like has some promise because it's like medium ground clearance and has 86 handling when you fully upgrade it. So this is one particular car that I'm relatively excited about. And the Saturn SC, honestly, that's a 27, might be relatively okay. But, and even the Nissan Leopard, you know, might have a chance to shine, but everything else is just, and here's the rest of the stuff to wrap it up, right? Mazda 6, Mitsubishi Lancer. Again, Lancer Sportback, you know, that used to be uncommon, went up to rare. Land's going back down to uncommon. Same thing for the Suzuki Kera. Suzuki Kera, more so. I mean, it went up to a rare in the same correction wave. Not wave, but, you know, time frame. Like this was an uncommon that went to rare in the first wave of the same batch that we're working with right now, and it's gone back down to uncommon, and I'm glad to see that, to be fair. Like I said at the start of the video, it tells me that Hutch does understand that they are overcorrecting some cars and they are willing to change that, and I would like to see more changes for that because I feel like a lot of cars were overcorrected. Things like the Mazda 2, as an example that I used earlier for the off-road tire cars, has no reason to be an off-roader that's an ultra rare. So hopefully that moves back down to a super rare. It's just that your tokens are literally going to be jumping all over the place, but as long as they have the system set in place, then, you know, as long as we're not losing any tokens, I guess it's not really much of a big inconvenience at the end of the day. And then we have two commons, I guess, going down in rarity again. Again, the Twizy, yeah, I messed up on the photos there, but who really cares? I honestly, initially, when I was making this video, I didn't even want to add these 4 cars anyway. So say it's a blessing, honestly, that they're even in the video. So yeah, one other thing that I want to highlight, right? The Ford Mustang 351. How is it going to compare in the upcoming meta, in the meta switch? I mean, it'll be racing against cars like these, the Plymouth GTX, the Dodge Coronet Super B, both of which that used to be uncommon, Aston Martin V8, Corvette LT1, Cobra MK1 is going to be an RQ39 in the upcoming update for the rarity changes. AC Frua is going to be a 39 in the upcoming update. So it's all going to be very interesting to see where everything goes around. But hey, you know what? The Mustang isn't the best in anything anymore, but it's still pretty good on a quarter mile and decent on a half mile. That's why I think that as a 37, I think it's a little bit too high high still. Maybe a 36, you know. But anyway, are you guys excited? You know, in terms of the lower rarity changes, they did do a lot of cars, but most of which were just, you know, crap cars going down because they needed to. In terms of cars that I'm genuinely excited about, though, it would include things like the Stillo, from what we've seen, the Benz, the Giulia. It's in other words, it's another way of saying I'm kind of surprised that the G55, the Giulia, and the Abarth have actually gone down as far as, you know, Hutch has placed them in. And then some other things that I'm kind of happy to see is the Cara going back down to an uncommon. I think it deserves to be there. The Citroen going down to a rare. I think it deserves to be there. And the Aspen Hybrid, mainly because I'm gonna get 5 maxed out for clubs nowadays. But anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for today. So let me know down in the comments below, what are you most excited in seeing? We will talk about the higher rarities over the weekend, I promise. But for now, this is what you got. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville.